Hey, welcome to the Total Schmidt Show. It's Tuesday night. It's 6 o'clock. We should be back video-wise, unless I screwed up again. But let's go with it. Bob Brizendine tonight. Good friend of mine, magician. And I ran into him on the Celebrity Reflection. Buckle up.
Hey, welcome to Total Schmidt Show. How you doing? I'm back at sea. Here's what you're going to get from the show. It's kind of like quarantine comedy, except I'm not going to be home.
Actually, it's kind of like quarantine comedy and a combination of all the stuff I've done online over the last year or so. There's sketch stuff, live stuff, stand-up stuff, travel stuff, and of course, conversations with others who do the same things that I do on a daily basis.
That's it. That's the whole show. Then I'm going to record it all and put it on the intraweb. Sometimes. Usually late. Always late. Maybe. I don't know. And weekly? Maybe. Sort of. Could be.
Either way, sit back. I hope you enjoy whatever the hell it is I put together for this week on Total Schmidt Show. Hey, welcome back to the show. It's Lenny Schmidt. We're back video-wise. We weren't last week if it was a podcast because I screwed up the kids from Westview screwed up the tech stuff yet again, and it's their fault. It's totally their fault. So we're back today live. Do me a favor, if you watch the show, you know the drill. Like the video, it's the most important part. If you're not already, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. Helps me. Look up on me. There's all kinds of captions up here somewhere after I edit this video. And you'll see my socials. You'll see the information for the YouTube page. Also, information you'll see throughout the show, a ticker to support the show. If you enjoy the contents, everything on my YouTube channel, the Lenny Schmidt Comedy Network, is free. But if you can support us financially if you want. We're supported solely by no sponsors, subscribers, and followers. And you can do that by going to LennySchmidt.com and go to Pay If You Can on the menu page. And you can support us. And man, let's get to it. I've known Bob for a while, man. We did Alaska together, and I was so happy to find out that he was here. Let's just get right to it. Here's Bob Brizendine. Folks, look, there he is. Bob Brizendine. What's up, brother?
So happy to be here. So happy to see you, man. That's a good. I always like getting on a ship when there's like good guys on. I don't know if you know a comedian named Joey Van, but he always describes certain guys on the ship as the white hats, like the good guys, you know. And so you always get on. You look to see who else is going to be on. You're like, fantastic.
The white hats.
Yeah, the white. You know, all the good guys always wear white hats in the westerns, you know. So you go, oh, the whites hats are out here. You got all the white hats.
Dude, I was thrilled to get the message from in the motel.
Oh yeah, when I texted you, the night before.
Yeah, I just gotten in too because I got in late and I was tired and I just ordered from Subway.
Yeah.
It's like the only thing I can do, like Grubhub food or whatever.
Yeah.
Because I do that fasting thing, so I fasted like all day.
I don't know how you guys do that.
No, I'm doing it now, man. I'm starving right now, but coffee helps.
Sure.
But I got the text. I was like, yes. So you're here for the first 4 days.
Yeah, man.
Great.
Yeah, I got on the last part of the last cruise and stay on until like 2 more days, and then off, and then go to another cruise line.
Right.
Another cruise line and run down through the Panama Canal and all that. So they're keeping me hopping, thank God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how many shows did you do when you were here last week?
The night I got on in Grand Cayman, the next night was Cozumel. Did 2 shows then, and then the next night I did my late night. They called it an adult show, but it wasn't an adult show because there was kids in the crowd. So then I did 1 show on the last night, which I guess is your schedule this time. You're doing one.
Yeah, it's a late night show, but I think it's an adult show. I think.
Yeah, I don't think he didn't know if I did straight adult shows, so I don't think he put it. I never worked with this cruise director before,
right?
So he didn't put it in the program like that. He just put down late night show.
Okay, I better check.
Yeah, right.
I'm planning on an adult show, so I go, there's going to be swear words in the show. The crowd was like, yay. I'm always amazed they only do 1 adult show on these cruises.
I'm always amazed that they're as well received as they are, because you know how everybody tries to be prudish and they want to complain about everything, but usually the adult shows are packed out here.
They always are.
Yeah.
Most of the ships I work on, like some ships do more, like Carnival does a lot of adult shows.
Yeah.
Norwegian does it sometimes a few bit more, but even on Norwegian, some of those ships only do 3 in a week.
And they tell you to be adult.
Yeah, but the people, those shows are packed, and people complain constantly that there's not enough adult shows.
And then I've seen them complain where they're not dirty enough.
Yeah.
You know, because you don't want to go out there and just drop the F-bomb as many times as you can. And so, oh, come on, we expect it to be a little dirtier.
Yeah, but I don't want
calm down.
Filthy, though.
No,
I know some guys are way too dirty.
Yeah.
Like, it's gross. And
absolutely.
Even for me, maybe I'm a prude now at 58. I'm like, I can't just be filthy for the reason of being filthy.
I gotta say, the night on stage, you said you were 58. Or I think you're not 58 yet, though, right? You're 57.
I'm 58.
Oh, you are 58.
Depending on the joke.
I'm about to be 58, and I was going, there's no way Lenny's as old as me, because you look so much younger. You're so much better shape than I am. I was like, oh,
well, I do well. I work out. Yeah, it's all smoke and mirrors.
Yeah,
I get up at 5 a.m. to look like this.
Oh, there you go. This just don't happen, right?
All the makeup. How long you been out here, bro?
I've been on ships almost 30 years now, which doesn't seem too bad until you say it out loud, and then you're like, 30 years. Jesus Christ.
Dude, sometimes I wish I had hit 30 years.
Yeah, I started back years ago, though, back in I did comedy clubs for years. And then when the comedy clubs kind of died out and quit paying, I had no idea what to do. And this guy, I met him in Atlanta, Georgia, and he said, "Oh, I book cruise ships." And I thought if you did cruise ships, they picked up your bar tab and gave you a free cruise, And he goes, no, we pay. And he goes, what would you have to have? And so I quoted him what the comedy clubs were paying me. And he goes, yeah, we can do that. And like 3 weeks later, I walked on a ship and been hopping off and on them ever since.
Yeah, I heard a lot of stories about the earlier days where a lot of things were a lot easier in a lot of ways.
Well, also, when I got on there was the cruise director's guy named Rick, who's still a really good buddy of mine to this day. And he trained me to be the cruise director because he was getting ready to leave. And there was nobody on his staff that was really, really good on the mic and able to mess with people and improv and stuff like that. So they trained me to be the cruise director. He left. I was the cruise director and an act for like 5 years out there.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, like one night I'd do a show and do the cruise director bits the rest of the time.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
What line was it on?
That was Premier Cruise Line. Big Red Boats went out of business, I think right around 99 or 2000.
Really?
Yeah.
Right on.
They were a family cruise line. They were the first Disney cruise line. We used to have Mickey Mouse and all those guys, but they weren't owned by Disney. We just had the rights. Right. Then when Disney built their own cruise ships, they took them away, and we got like Bugs Bunny and those guys. Became the Warner Brothers, all those.
Right. So you worked down the cartoon level.
Oh yeah, it was maniacal, man. I mean, some of those, you get those guys on there, and they have that big list of rules, especially the Disney characters. Like Mickey can't have his picture made with somebody holding a beer, right. So somebody will have to be standing around. And then they got the Warner Brothers on. They're like, yeah, smoke a joint around Bugs. We don't care.
Almost the white trash equivalent of the
absolutely. Well, you look at them now, like Mickey Mouse is always getting beat up by a ghost or something like that, and Bugs Bunny's always winning. It was always right. But they just let them do what they do, and everybody had fun. It was more fun with the Warner Brothers too.
Yeah, I bet, because they have a little more of an edge, man.
They did. They were edgy cats. They're a lot of fun.
So and then you transformed to just doing the guest entertainer, right?
It got to the point to where I was getting really tired of just the cruise director stuff, because it used to be a lot of fun when you're cruise director. Then they started adding stuff to it. Like what they do now is nothing compared to what I did. Oh my God!
And they work their ass off.
Yeah. So I got when I left Premier, I went over to Asia and opened up a company called Star Cruise Lines, who eventually bought NCL, and then NCL got sold. But I was setting up all their ships, and I was sitting in a bar one night, and I was listening to these bunch of guys over here, and like 4 buddies, passengers, they're just telling jokes, joke. And I went, when's the last time I did that? When's the last time I sit down with my buddies and just told jokes? And I go, I got to get out of this business. And so I quit and went back to just being an entertainer.
Oh, right on. Yeah. There you go. Yeah, because I don't know, because George Solano's a guy that was a cruise director.
Yeah.
Well, he's a comic first, then a cruise director, then. But like you said, now their schedule now is the same.
Yeah.
I don't know how you can keep up with it. I like this, crazy. And I like this get on for a week off thing better.
It's also bizarre how they did it, because when you used to be a cruise director, we had power like you wouldn't believe. I mean, they would let you, because we made money for every department in the gift shops. We promoted them and all this, and they took that all away from us. And then like over on I don't want to say the cruise line, but in one of the other cruise lines, they gave another person a position that's on the staff that's above the cruise director. This cruise director's boss that has no idea about entertainment, has no idea what to do on stage, has but that's the person that's telling that guy what to do or that gal what to do, and they have no idea how to do it. Right. And it's bizarre. It's really bizarre.
Well, that's how a lot of those also similar lines are similar along those lines. Back then, because when I started, the cruise director still had some power.
Oh yeah.
And people cruised to see cruise directors.
Yeah.
They would take your ship. That was their thing.
Oh yeah.
But when they diversified or when they split up the job, they changed. It became more difficult for a cruise director, and it took all the power away from those guys.
It did.
And they started kind of disappearing. And then they're almost like, what it is? They're cutting and pasting people in positions to where I'm convinced sometimes is the corporations. It's almost like the Marvel thing. They don't want one person to have a lot of power or recognizability. You know what I'm saying? They don't want people to go, I have to see that guy. They want to go, here's a cruise director.
Yeah. You're going to have fun either way. They're all great. They're all great. Yeah,
and they'll personalize you to a point.
Yeah.
But not enough where people are going, well, I only cruise with this person.
Yeah.
That's
Carnival still sort of does that though, don't they? With John Hild and all those guys, they still
Well, they do, and like Cookie, and there's some that have their own, and they all have their own Facebook pages. So they definitely have a name and a brand.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
But, and they try to, but sometimes they bounce them around a lot too, which is weird.
Yeah.
That makes it difficult for the guests though to book.
When I was a cruise director, I've told this story several times, but I could walk into a bar where there's nothing going on, and go, oh, why is there no revenue in here? Why are we not selling any drinks? And I can make like 2 phone calls, and within 10 minutes, I could have a steel drum band in there, drink specials, buckets of beer for whatever.
Yeah.
And I just call the bar manager and go, hey, drink specials? He'd go, yeah, and band, come up here. And now they have to get a paper signed by the hotel manager to go to the office to say it's okay to come back. And then by the time they get it all, it's the next day, So it's crazy how it all is. But,
Well, I was on a ship. I was on the ship. It was when the Cubs were in the World Series.
Yeah.
And they beat Cleveland. It was Game 7, right? It went 7 games. It was that rain delay game, that whole deal. I was on a ship that was disembarking that day, and they didn't have the game playing anywhere. And people were losing their minds, so they thought they could put it in one of the big back lounges, but it took them forever to get it up. Like I mentioned it earlier, why is the World Series not on the big screen?
Yeah.
Oh well, we'll see if we can get approved. What do you mean get approved? It's a Game 7 of the, and it took them till the 8th inning. I mean, they packed. People went into a room, hearing it was going to be played there, and by the 8th inning, they were gone on their phones and other areas and stuff. Yeah. And it was horrible. It was not well run.
Those parties are funny too, aren't they? Because depending on who the hotel manager is, where he's from, the cruise director and all this stuff, they'll have this Super Bowl party, and then they'll have snacks and their loose interpretation of Super Bowl snacks. Instead of like nachos and corn dogs, it'll be like a little hot dog with some type of caviar. But what? It's very funny to watch what they pull up.
Some sort of middle of the line fancy, and like just a big thing of chicken wings will work for everyone.
We have melon. What?
I can't watch this game without melon.
Yeah, that's right.
Like watermelon or something. So your shows are tomorrow, both shows?
Tomorrow night, both shows, and I get off the next day in St. Martin. So it's going to be one of those hectic days tomorrow. But it's fun, I don't mind it. We met my buddies cruising with me, and he's up there laying by the pool right now. So which is rare. Usually it used to be in the old days you come out and you knew everybody. I knew all the entertainers, and there's always somebody to hang out with. And now it's like a bunch of young guy entertainers, young gal entertainers you don't know. They're more worried about their Facebook, Instagram page, and you don't see them. And I get bored a lot out here now. I'm looking to go somebody to hang out with, and there's very seldom am I with somebody like you that I know,
right.
And that you can hang out with. But I still have fun. I mean, I'm not griping about it. I could be working at Home Depot again.
Sure, there's a million things, but I noticed that after post-COVID for sure.
Yeah, that's when it happened. Yeah.
And after COVID, when I got on, I didn't know anybody. Like every ship I went to, I'm like, oh my god, what happened? I don't know any of the. And for a while early on, they wouldn't let guest entertainers couldn't hang with the cast or the crew anyway.
That's right. You had to kind of quarantine away.
Yeah. So now you're like, well, I can't party with them. I can't really party with the guy. What are you gonna do? That's why I started bringing stuff with me. Or I bring work with me. I write. I go to the gym. I do that stuff, which I guess is good. It's cut back on my drinking. I guess sort of.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah. I know, but,
and then a guy like me comes
this week with you though.
A guy like, come on, have one. Come on.
What are you doing? Let's go. Yeah. So, but yeah, it's been a different grind here. Plus, each line is a little bit different too. Like this line is there's different entertainers that come on in the middle, and like there's usually like a comedian, a magician, or a hypnotist,
juggler,
and then
something
there's
like
a singer, soloist, and then they rotate throughout the middle of the show.
Yeah, and depending on the cruise director, depends on who you get. Like we know Rich Cleason, one of the cruise directors out here. He's one of these guys that loves the acts, and I mean all the acts. I mean all of them. The cast, us, everybody, and he promotes every show. Bang, bang, bang. Then you get some guy out here who really doesn't care about us too much.
Right.
They don't promote our show that much, but they promote their newlywed game.
Sure. And every event there, I'll be having tea at 3:00. You're like, where? What?
I always get cracked up by the way they do it as well. As you can tell the guys that don't have experience, because you go out one night and you just kill, man. You do this show, this is the show of shows, and everybody loves you, and they're building altars in the back of the room for you, and then the cruise director walks and goes, "Did you enjoy the show? Yeah, well, it's even better tomorrow night." You go, what?
Wait a minute.
What?
I didn't. What are you talking about? I'm looking forward to working with Cleason, man. I never worked with him. I went to high school with him.
Yeah,
we're high school friends.
That's what we said last night. We had dinner. I dropped his name, and you go, "Oh my God, I went to high school."
I had a heart attack. I'm like, I knew he was out here, and I found out. And when I found out he was out here, I sent him a couple messages, and I forgot he was a celebrity. I didn't know where he was, but I lost track of him. But every once in a while, I see a post and stuff. So we never connected. So when you told me that, I was thrilled. We knew we used to hang out in high school.
And we're going to be on that ship together in the Eclipse. He'll be the cruise director.
Yeah.
He just sent, he'll be there.
I can't wait. I might bring my daughters on that.
Sweet, it'd be great. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see if I
can. He had never met my wife, and of course I'd known Rich forever and a day. And a few weeks ago, we're in Fort Lauderdale for a turnaround day, and my wife just drove down to hang out with me for we only live a few hours from. And Rich got off, and we were at the restaurant, and I had somebody else there. I was going to run to the airport, so my wife goes, "I'll just wait here with Rich, and you run them at the airport, and come back, and then we'll go to the ship. I'll take you guys to the ship. So I go, okay. I came back, and they were like best buddies sitting at the bar, telling stories. And
you're like, yay, and then you're like, oh, wait a minute,
Bob's back.
That's great. They formed an alliance.
Yeah, they were all against me, man. They know all the secrets now.
Now they got inside jokes against you. They're saying things you don't know why they're laughing.
And he cries after sex. What?
You didn't tell him that. Stop it. Shh, quiet. That's hilarious.
He's a good cat, though. He's a great guy.
So now, Magic, you've done stand-up. You've done stand-up, right?
Yeah.
Are you a self-taught musician?
Yeah. I got into it when I was young and got out of it, as a lot of people do. But then when I was, up in my teens, maybe in my 20s, a guy moved to our town, and he was the he became the youth minister at the church I was going to. And he and I just got to talking one night, and he said something about magic. He goes, "Oh, I do magic." And I picked it right back up, and he and I started hanging out and worked on stuff. And then I got lucky enough that there was open mic nights over in Owensboro, Kentucky, and I would go do that. And then Tom Sobel, I'm sure you remember the Tom Sobel gigs, he would do the comedy caravans, and I got to host those, and which kind of got me on the road with him, and got me doing it pretty well. You know what? It's very funny. I won't mention this guy's name because he was such a scumbag, and I don't even think he's in the business anymore. But I was doing one of those. I was doing the door at this club, and I opened, did like 5 minutes to introduce everybody. So I'm standing at the door, and this guy's on stage and could not buy a laugh. I mean, could not buy a laugh. He's just bombing like you wouldn't believe. And I made some reference to Sobel's brother, and I go, "Yeah, man," I said, "You got me working the door, and I'm getting more laughs in 5 minutes than he's getting his whole show." And so he sort of started getting me on the road at that point, And so years and years later, I'm doing my very first Holland America cruise going to Alaska, right? Yeah. And I did my show, and the next day we're in Juneau. And I'm walking down the gangway, and some guy taps me on the shoulder, and he goes, "Hey, I saw you last night." And I said, "Thanks." He goes, "I'm the other act on board." And says his name, doesn't resonate, shake hands, and he goes, "You been to Juneau?" "No." "I'll show you where to go." So we go down to this place to have some food and drinks. And he goes, "How'd you get into this?" I go, "Oh, one night I was watching this guy bomb on stage, and it was him." Oh. And as soon as I said that, I went, "Oh." But I didn't say it. Of course, I didn't go.
Did you make the connection?
Well, he goes, "Where was that at?" I go, "Owensboro, Kentucky, a place called Barnaby's." He goes, "I worked there." I go, "I don't remember you."
Must have been a different night.
Yeah, I must have been off that night. Yeah.
Oh, dude, that's the worst, man. Yeah. That's the best. So you pick up your own tricks. You buy tricks too. You told me you've done a couple of those.
You do a couple buy tricks, but the worst thing about magicians, and I'm a self-loathing magician. I don't get along with most magicians, because if you watch them, the trick will come with instructions, and it'll go, "Do this, say this, say this, say this." So they're all doing the same thing, the exact same thing. And so I think the best thing you do is if you do buy a trick, see how to do it, but then throw away everything else.
Personalize it.
Yeah, personalize it, make it yours. And every card trick in the world is, here, you take a card, is that your card? But it's what you do between here and here that'll make it.
Yeah.
And I think the thing that helped me to stay as booked as much as I am is that I don't care about the ooh. I care about the ha ha ha.
Sure, right. Yeah.
And
you're like the anti-magician.
Yeah, the anti-magician.
You're the anti-magician.
But that's, most magicians are worried about the ooh, and I don't give a shit if I fool you. I'm sorry, I'm not supposed to curse.
Yeah, I'm okay.
I'm not supposed to, if I'm supposed
Nobody
to.
Watches
Nobody watches. I don't care if anybody's impressed with my magic as long as they're laughing,
See, there was a guy named Austin Brooks. He's a good friend of mine. He doesn't do much magic anymore, but he lives in Vegas. I told the story before, but I worked on the road with him for years. We always worked on the road. But his in between was brilliant. He was great. He was so good about. He was kind of like the rock and roll magician before there were rock and roll magicians.
Yeah.
I mean, it was even before the guys in Vegas. Who's the guy? Chris
Angel.
All these guys Austin was doing some cool stage stuff with the crowd and he was funny as hell.
Yeah. Do you ever see Matt King out there?
No.
Max.
I see his signs everywhere though, because he's advertised a lot.
He's over at the Excalibur. He's a really, really good buddy of mine, and he's one that's both. He's incredibly funny, and his magic's incredibly good. Yeah. And you usually don't see the two mix like that.
Yeah, well, Austin was like that, too. Plus, Austin, to this day, is the best sleight of hand guy I've ever seen in my life. It's amazing. He would open up with a card thing that was just high energy, everything right down to pulling cards out of the mouth. And I mean, you just wouldn't see any of it. He was so good at it. It was just mind-blowing. Yeah. It was really good to watch.
One of the first guys I saw like that was Paul Kozak.
I know Paul.
Yeah.
I worked with him. He's got in Hawaii now. What a great gig that is.
Actually, my buddy that's cruising, him and his girlfriend are going to go over and see him like next month. Go see him.
He's a great cat.
He's great.
Yeah.
And I saw him in Nashville, Tennessee at Zany's. And he came out, and in his first 4-minute musical opener where he just says a couple things to the crowd, but not like really talking. Yeah. He's just doing magic music. When it was over, I went, he could walk off stage now and I would be happy. I go, that was
That
amazing.
was well worth the money.
Yeah, and then he did his, rest his 40 more minutes and just killed everything he did.
Yeah.
He's one of those guys, just high energy and fantastic. Love to watch him.
Yeah, he's great. He's really good. Now, he's I don't think he's ever left Vegas, right? Because he does that. He runs. Is he still doing the thing there? He's got a theater or a residency. He was doing.
You mean Hawaii?
Hawaii.
Yeah,
Hawaii.
no, I think when he went to Hawaii, he just stayed.
He stayed.
Yeah, I don't think he's touring anywhere. I don't see him at any conventions or anything. I think he's happy there, riding his Harley.
Yeah, it's
he's
a
got
great
all the
story, dude.
got all
Somebody
the
saw him
tattoos
and
and
wanted
all.
him to do the show out there in Hawaii, and he ended up doing it. And he was a great guy, and you're right, he's phenomenal.
Yeah,
He's good.
I remember there was this little magic club in Indiana that was. I don't want to say their names, but anyway, these couple guys were, well, one of them's dead, I don't care. But anyway, a couple of boneheads.
You have a lot of stories where we go, I don't want to say this guy's name.
I
don't
that's
want to miss
most of
this
my
place.
stories. But Kozak was at he was at one of the comedy clubs, and these guys, I told him, I said, oh, you need to go see him. I wasn't going to be in town, but I said, you need to go see him. I said, that's a lesson in magic, watching this guy perform. I go, you really need to go see him. So these idiots went, and before he's on, they're working the crowd, doing card tricks, doing close-up, walking around, and he saw him and got mad and kind of chewed him out. And they're like, why would he do that? I go, why would you do that? It's his gig. It's not your gig.
Yeah.
That's which is one of the reasons I don't get along with magicians. They're mostly, a lot of them are like that. They don't understand. Out here, I'm the guy.
I think most of them would understand they would understand that.
I think if they were performers.
Their way?
I think if they were performers, but these guys usually do 2 or 3 shows a year, you know what I'm saying? And all they want to do is sit around but like out here, I'll get booked on here and I'm the magic guy, but nobody knows I'm the magic guy until tomorrow night. They just see me walking around, right? So some guy will come on who's an amateur magician, shows his nephews and nieces tricks, walks around the pool, and he sucks.
Yeah.
They don't know he doesn't work for the ship.
Right.
And so you get to the end of the comic cards, the magician wasn't very good.
Oh.
And they go, they didn't go to see my show. They're just talking about the guy
They're referring to the guy around the pool.
But
I didn't even think of that.
Gets to the office, they don't know that. They just see the magician suck.
Yeah.
And let's be honest, they might have been talking about me.
I like your out. I like you're establishing an out for the magician sucks comic cards. Here's what I'm going to say from now on.
My favorite comic card I ever got was on Holland America. I'm not a lot of guys like to go down and get all their comic cards and keep them to show how good they are. I've never liked that. It's not been one of my things. But Julie Barr.
Yeah.
Remember Julie?
Yeah.
Julie called me once and she goes, "You got to see this comment." And I ran down and it said, I kept it because it was so funny. It says, Magic Bob's show was Magic Bob's show was definitely above average. And I go, is that good? Was definitely above average. And I go, no, wait a minute. Am I a C plus? Is that a B? Is that an A?
What does it mean?
But I thought they took enough time to write it out, but definitely above average. Not good or great or anything like those things happen.
Yeah, most people will go awesome. I'll go great magician.
Yeah.
He was more than adequate.
It's more than adequate.
Well, thank you very much. I
Okay.
appreciate that. That's hilarious, man. So now how many kids you got?
One.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Yeah, 20. She'll be 20 in September, and she was great the first 17 years. She's
Really?
and she's just trying to kill me and her mom. We're pretty sure. She what it is, and I know all of us think our kids are gorgeous, but my kid is movie star pretty. I mean, it's just,
Right.
And she found out about 3 years ago that she was movie star pretty and didn't have to do anything,
Oh, right.
and everybody do it for her.
Oh, great.
So
Does she have a boyfriend?
she had one.
Yeah.
Now I think she's got like a guy she kind of talks to, but no serious one. But she had. I'll tell this, and she'll probably get mad at me for telling this. But
Again, nobody watches
yeah,
the show. So.
a year ago,
At least not her friends.
yeah, I hope my mom and dad don't see this because Chase, my daughter's name, she had long hair, and she's sitting at the table, we're having dinner, and she gets up to leave, and she goes to her room, and my wife goes, "Do you notice?" I go, "Notice what?" She goes, "Her hickey." I go, "She got a hickey? Where'd you see it?" She goes, "I didn't see it, but you could tell what she was doing with her hair." She goes, "That's when girls, when I was young."
Hide it.
Well, she kept pulling her hair around. So I yell at her, and I always call her kid. I go, "Kid, come here, kid, come here." She comes out, and I go, "Pull your hair back." And she goes, "No." I go, "I want a question." I go, "Options are pull your hair back or I'll shave your head tonight while you're sleeping, So she pulls it back. There's that big hickey. And I go, call him, get him over here, get him over here. So she's like all embarrassed, and she calls him, and he knows, And so he comes in, and she goes, "Dad, he's here." I said,
And
"Okay."
she's how old at this time?
At that time, it's like 18,
Okay.
17 maybe,
Okay.
whatever. "Dad, he's here." "Okay." "Yeah, 17. So they come in, and you hear it rustling a little bit, and they're in the front room, the TV goes on. And I'm in the kitchen cooking, My wife comes in, she goes, "You're not going to do anything?" I go, "Oh yeah, I'm going to do something." I said, "You ever had your butt kicked?" And she goes, "No." And I said, "Here's the problem. When you know you're going to get your butt kicked, it's worse than actually getting your butt kicked."
Sure.
I go,
It's the
knowing
weight.
the buildup.
The weight, yeah.
I go, "So we're going to let him sit in there for a while." And so I let him sit for a while. And I heard Chase go, "Dad, he's got to leave." I said, "Okay." And I just kept Finally, she goes, okay, he's leaving. All right. And I heard the door shut. And then I walked out, opened the door, and I followed him down the sidewalk to the car. And I go, hey. And man, she's like, and he turns around. He goes, yeah.
He had to feel, you know the best part? But go ahead, finish.
Yeah, he goes, yes. And I go, not another mark on her. You understand me? Not another mark on her. I said, another mark on her, I put a mark on you. I said, you get it? Yes, sir. And that voice cracked. I picked up Thor's hammer. I walked back in the house.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's great.
Dude, the best part about that was not only he ran the entire emotional gamut because he sat in the house freaking out about what you were going to do, got outside and got, oh my God, I'm totally in the clear. So he felt good, and then, hey, that's hilarious.
And I owned that kid for the rest of the time they dated because I would be sitting in the garage with one of my buddies having a beer or something, and she'd go, Dad, he's coming over. I said, tell him to bring Funyuns. And he'd go over the back of Funyuns and give me, he'd go in the house.
You just pick up random things for
Yeah,
the
whatever. We want Doritos.
Tell me sour cream.
Wife needs some bread. Just whatever I would. And he'd bring those things in. And, poor guy now, he's probably having a nervous breakdown. His new girlfriend's dad just, you know, he
Yeah,
walks in her.
what's wrong with your jumpy boyfriend? I don't know. I can't.
Why does he keep bringing me Funyuns? You know?
I don't even like Funyuns. My youngest just broke up with her boyfriend. Then she's going through this. It's a mess.
That depression thing.
Yeah, let me rephrase. Her boyfriend broke up with her.
Yeah.
So it's been 2 weeks and it's been this up and down roller coaster. Sometimes we every time I'm in town, I'll do I have 2 daughters, you know, so every day I'll do a dinner with one day with each one.
Yeah.
So one night one is Anna night, and the other one is Lily night. I go, what do you want to do? Just pick it. Let's go. And they pick a place. We go eat. We go to a movie. We do whatever. We just hang out. We talk. Right. So we're hanging out with Lily. I took her out that night specifically. I go, we'll do the whole day. I go, I knew she broke up with the kid, and I go, we'll just hang out. But 3 times during the night she was having trouble. It's been almost 2 weeks, and I mean I don't want to be an insensitive oof, but I know it's been 2 weeks. But the thing that gets me is a month before he broke up with her, she broke up with him because she needed space and it wasn't going well. And they kind of slowly got back together. And then he broke up with her. So when she broke up with him, it was this whole, I'm really trying to be mature and do the right thing and grow. And then a month later, she's a mess. And I go, I don't understand the difference between the two. I go, now you can't even pull it together. A month ago, you were like, I've got to be an adult dad. I go, yeah, good. I'm proud of you. You're doing a great job.
And you got to wonder if he's holding that in his pocket. They got back together going, okay, now I'm going to.
Yeah, I don't know, but you're
hammer,
teenagers, so you start to think about the teenage mindset, and the way you deal with it. And I remember it. I remember breaking up with people. I remember getting dumped on. I remember having a hard time with it.
Sure.
But my youngest also is a little more. She's a little more sensitive. She's a little. She's a little more. So we go to family therapy and a lot of stuff like that.
Now my kid was squirrely when they broke up, and what's funny was they'd come over to the house one night, and I'm sort of anti-Disney. I know I make fun of him in the show and all this stuff, but I'm sort of anti-Disney, and so he had the Disney Plus or whatever, and they wanted to watch some movie. And she goes, Dad, can we download Disney Plus? Can we get Disney Plus? I go, no, I'm not giving Disney money. You know how I feel about them. And so she goes, well, she downloads and they use his password to watch this movie. And so they had she had written the password down. So I'm a Marvel guy, So I went in the next day and I went on, logged in under him, and I'm watching one of the Marvel movies. And she goes, you can't do that, Dad. You can't do that. That's his password. And I'm like, yeah, but it's on my TV. And no, Dad, you can't do that. And they break up. She goes, yeah, use it all you want.
Oh, that's the best, man. Yeah, dude, it's weird with daughters, man. You know what I mean? I'm like, especially this generation. Your daughters the same age as my kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, their vibe is just because they're 21 and 19. That's what my kids are.
No, did you have this experience? Rick Starr, very great comedian, he has one daughter as well, and she's now she's got kids and all this. But when she was about my daughter's age, he told me and my wife, he goes, they get squirrely, but they come back. He goes, don't worry about it. They'll come back. So we're just waiting for the comeback.
Yeah, she's still young.
Yeah.
She's still...
Did yours get squirrely around 6?
Yeah, but Anna never really did. Anna's been pretty straight-laced.
Yeah.
Anna's pretty amazing. And Lily's been squirrely, but never... Like, one thing she never did... I always give her credit for this, both of them, really. Because they're learning the adult lessons now. Just the little things like the DMV, the license, the stuff you're supposed to do. And, taxes, stuff like that. And they're making mistakes. Like, they're supposed to travel to Europe, and both of them, their passports expired a year ago. And I go, okay, it's on you. You're adults now.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And then time, we'll get it done. I'll get it done. And then a few weeks ago, I was like, you guys may not get it done. It takes sometimes 3 months because there's what? I told you. You know what? Just Google. My big thing with every kid, I go, just Google any question you have, and you'll get all the information you need.
Yeah.
So basically, so they're not squirrely, and I give them credit for this. When they do screw up, they learn from it and they don't do it again.
I wonder what
So-
that's like.
I don't know. It's pretty impressive. 'Cause when I was their age, I didn't do any of that.
Nah.
They do a lot of things way better than I do when I was that. So they don't get squirrely. Like I didn't lose them to drugs or anything like that. I've been very fortunate. I got friends that have had really problem kids.
Oh, sure, yeah.
And my kids didn't do that. So they're squirrely, but they're not bad squirrely because we connect and they talk to me all the time. So I never lost them on a level. I think what kind of helped me in a way, honestly, and what helped me, was I got divorced, and for a while they don't get along with their mom sometimes. And right now the mom can be the bad guy. And I'm always like, yeah, your mom loves you and stuff, and and all that's great. And so they don't communicate with her well, but they communicate with me really well.
Do you think that's like the girls will fight with the mom, and then if the son will fight with the dad?
That's
Do you
part
think
of it.
that's how it works out?
Yeah, I think it's a big part of it. There's a daughter-mom thing that always comes up. Plus, in my ex didn't make it easy, and I don't want to bag on her, but she's we get along really well right now, and she knows we've both made mistakes as parents, and so and my ex is just a different person, but she's also grown over the last few years, and her and I talk and communicate. So, but when they were young, the difficult part of my daughter's lives was the divorce, because then they moved to Chicago with their mom, and then so they barely saw me. So I think there's some underlying resentment there. I never was out on the outs with any of my daughters. I've never had a situation where they were so mad at me they wouldn't talk to me. So I've always had really good communication with both of them. So, and I've always been really good at listening to my kids. Like I try not to boss them around and stuff, but I don't let them run me around. Like parents go the other way on it, where I see kids run the house, and you're like, whoa, there's a line. I mean, there's a line.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But I didn't want to grow up in the generation I did, which was to shut up and do what I said. I want to be able to hear. So I listen to my daughters. This generation is so different. They have so many different. They're so more involved and aware of what the hell's going on in the world too. So I listen to what they say, and a lot of times, but we'll disagree, and they'll get very standoffish. Like and Anna will be like, "Well, I don't wish you would believe me. Like we're going through this thing now, which is stupid." But she keeps saying there's roaches in our building, and I go, "There are no roaches in our building. There are none." So she'll see a bug. I saw a roach outside today. I go, "It was a beetle." I go, "No." So every time I'll see it, I go, "That's a beetle," and she'll go, "No." I go, "Dad, it's a roach. I'm telling you." And I go, "No, I was a kid. I grew up with roaches. I know what roaches look like." I go, so we have this so she found another beetle. Every time she sees a bug. Yeah. I found another roach in the courtyard. I go, I'm pretty sure it wasn't a roach. And so I go, well, let's take a picture. She goes, well, I can't find it now. And she always loses it or something. So that's the debate. But she's so angry with me because she's like, you're not taking me seriously. I go, no, I always take you seriously. Sometimes I just think you're wrong. And that's where we misbeat sometimes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. My wife is as good as she is at managing the house when I'm gone. That's the one thing she can't take. And in Florida, we've got them big palmetto bug roaches,
I hate those bugs.
Those things knock on the door, to come in. And
yeah, you're driving in a bus down the road.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Oh man.
And I mean, I can handle anything except a snake. And in Florida, of course, we have all the snakes, and so that's I'll kill anything. You handle the snake, I'll take care of everything else, But we've got a cat that's a snake killer, so that's the only cat I like,
Oh, so you got a guardian. Good for you.
Oh yeah,
You're a
man,
little
she's
superhero.
something else. we got a boy cat and a girl cat. The boy cat, they're brother and sister, and the boy cat is just an annoying cat, and he always gets beat up. He comes back in, he's limping, he gets under the bed, he whines for a day or two,
Yeah.
and then the girl cat, all of a sudden you find a headless squirrel on the patio, and the girl cat's just standing there. And so she'll go under the bed to the boy cat and go, "Who did this to you? Give me a name. I'll be back." So we don't worry about critters around the house with her.
Well, you're traveling a ton. Then is your daughter living at home?
Yeah, okay. She's going to college only a couple miles down the road. She goes to college, so she's able to stay home. But then I think this is her freshman year, her sophomore year, and then her junior year she wants to go to UCF over in Orlando. And so she'll move over there, and so we got her for another year.
Oh, good, right on. Yeah. Well, let's go. Well, that you know of.
So far.
Yeah.
So far, she's a surprise. She hates that I say this, but within 2 years, she was responsible for totaling 7 cars.
Oh yeah, you told me.
7 cars. Now she didn't total 7, but the one she hit and her, so there's 2. And then the one car she just took her keys and left out on the pillow and on the blanket on the beach. Guy picked it up, went beep beep beep, got it, drove it, and totaled it, and. So she just got her other car, the latest car, but we made her pay for it. We said, we're done buying you cars. Right. So I said, maybe you'll take care of it. You're out money. So she had to pay for the car and all that. And so she's a trial. She's a lot. She's a sweet girl. She's a lot of fun. But gosh dang, man, sometimes you just want to kill her.
Yeah. Yeah, my kids. Like I told you, Anna was only one. Lily doesn't drive. She never got a license.
And how old is she?
She's 19.
Oh, wow.
She'll be 19.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, I put it on her. I'm like, go get your license. You got to go do it. You know, you got to figure it out. Okay. And then she just doesn't do it. In fact, the part of the holdup with the passport was the fact that she didn't have any sort of ID.
Oh, yeah.
And when she turned 18, I go, you needed an ID. In the world, in the light, you need an ID. You have to have an ID. Okay. Like, school ID is not going to cut it. And okay. And then she put it on, and something would come up, and she'd go, oh, let's go get an ID. You go, yeah, it takes like a month to get an ID. You don't just walk in and they hand it to you. What? You know, and then she'll do the groundwork where she thought she was wrong. She Googled something. She goes, Dad, I figured out I can get my license in the mail, like in a week. And I go, you have bad information. There's no way. You got to go take a driver's test. There's a whole bunch of stuff you got to do.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? But she's like, no, I read this thing, and she was wrong.
They'll read it on the line. They'll argue with you. I read this on so-and-so, and
yeah,
I read it online.
Or they'll read just the headline,
Yeah.
and they won't read all of it. That's why I'm always like, you got to read the whole. You know how many times I'm sitting with them on the computer, and we're going through something like government-wise, like FAFSA or whatever it is. I go, read all this, answer all these questions, and then I got to go, scroll down. What do I do now? Scroll down. Oh, there's more. Yeah, there's more. There's more. I didn't know. So they always miss half a page of shit because they're not paying attention.
Well, they'll believe anything they see on there too, because they're constantly this and anything on Twitter, text, or TikTok or whatever. That's all they know. And my buddy Paul always had a great line. He goes, I love that response. Going, no, I know it's true because I read it online on a blog I wrote.
Right. Well, this generation, they learn a lot of stuff from TikTok, which is it's good and bad for this reason. One is good because they're aware of it and it's brought their attention quickly and they learn it faster. But it's bad because it's an abbreviated version of exactly what's going on.
Absolutely.
It's not all the information. No. So they only get like a 30-second or 60-second clip. Like, oh, this is how it goes. And then you want to go, there's 9 pages of documents you need to read on the IRS.
Oh, yeah.
You got to do read it all. You got to do all of it. So they're getting some of the information, but not, so they're like educated, not fully educated. You know?
That's why I worry. You see all these TikTok videos of these guys who claim they're sovereign citizens and they argue with the cops until they get pulled out the window. And I'm just waiting for the day that my daughter saw it on TikTok and gets pulled out the window, right. For being but I don't think she's that bad, but I just hope to God she doesn't.
Well, my kids went through a wave during the whole Black Lives Matter thing and the George Floyd thing where they hated every cop. And
yeah.
You can't do that.
Can't do it, yeah.
No, I got friends that are cop. We talk to them. And when you get pulled over, you go, just be polite, man. Just be polite and answer questions. My brother used to be like this. Everything was a standoff. Even the tone of his voice. What did I do? And I'm like, there's no way to start a conversation with the police officers. Just be nice.
It takes care of that warning ticket right there.
Yeah, it's gone. I go, I'm not asking to kiss his ass, or I'm not giving him any more power than he already has. But just if you're, just in general in life, if you're nice to people in general, if you talk to any human being with that tone right away, people will be like, who are you?
Yeah. I told my neighbor kid, I go, man, when you start driving, if they pull you over and you think they're treating you bad, I said, eat it. Give them whatever they ask for. And I said, you might be able to sue them later for doing something wrong, but if you start with them, they shoot you in the head. Who cares if you can sue them? I said, you're dead. You're dead.
Yeah, you've made a point, but now you're dead.
Yeah, and it's lucky that I try to be nice to everybody. So, I know my wife just laughed when I said that. Yeah, right.
You try to be nice to everybody. All right, dude. Well, let's wrap this up.
Yeah,
this was great. Dude, thanks for doing it. I really appreciate it. I'm sorry you had to go put on a shirt.
I know, came in my tank top. I've been by the pool, look like a hillbilly. And I just now looked. I haven't colored my beard yet. I look like Jed Clampett.
The second I saw you walk in, I go, I must have not told him it was a video.
Yeah, that was because it was audio.
Like he came from the pool. What's up? All right, man. Do you have any socials or anything you want to plug?
Magic Bob 365 on Instagram, and it's a thing that I just try to promote this charity I'm involved with, the Corsair Children. This my buddy Paul, who passed away a couple years ago. He was a MC for this show for like 10 years, and how it started was a friend of mine named Pat Miller. He was a Corsair child. When he was born, his feet were facing back instead of forward.
What?
Yeah, that's how he's born, right? So Corsair took him in. 13 surgeries. They turned his feet around. His parents never paid a penny. He grew up to be the chairman of the Corsair Charities. So he's like the only kid that was a Corsair kid that grew up to be the chairman of the Corsair Charities.
Okay.
So 13 years ago, his goal was to do a show to raise $10,000. So 13 years now, we're still doing these shows, and we've raised $675,000 for these kids.
Oh my God! Okay, that's great.
And we do it every year. And so Magic Bob 365, I put little videos up, maybe me doing a trick, maybe doing something stupid with my dog or something I'm cooking, and then I put up where my shows are, and then I promote that one, that big one for everybody to come out and see that we do. We're going to do it September 7th or 6th or something like that. It's the first Saturday in September. in Louisville, Kentucky, and we're still trying to get a place buckled down right now. I think it's moving from where we were last year. But
do you have is there a Facebook page or a website for the
for them? I think they have one too. To tell you the truth, I don't know because
but if they go to your
they go to mine, they can find it.
Okay,
yeah.
great. Do
yeah.
that then. All right,
yeah.
perfect. Dude, thank you so much for being
Thank
here.
you, Lenny. This was fun. Thank you.
Awesome.
I'm gonna go put my tank top back on.
I caught that. I'm keeping that audio. You're still watching? That's amazing. Nobody does that. Nobody, but you did. That means you want more. Pick one of these clips. Go for it. I dare you. Hey, also follow one of those social media thingies.